All right, and we are live. That went pretty quick. This is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. And as always, I want to take the time to thank everybody for watching and listening to what I have to say, and hopefully it will help you gain a different perspective and a different point of view, and that to me is always a good thing. So this is the 23rd of August 2017. It is currently 1:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And while I'm waiting for people to come in, because I know there are plenty of people that don't get the opportunity to watch this live, but watch it later on, I want to give an update on my vehicle. I have the vehicle back. As of now, it's currently only cost me 150 fiat dollars, which I can't complain about. They reset the computer. They did a couple of things, changed some hoses and stuff like that. So luckily, no major big deal. He said I have to drive it for about 50 to 100 miles. And if the light doesn't come back on, then we're fine. And if it goes back on, then we have to go back and see what's going on. So far, not bad news. And I'm very happy about that. I had the feeling it was going to be that way. So that's why I always say that, and I used to be one of these people where, bad things happen, and they tend to happen in bunches, like they say, when it rains, it pours. And a lot of times we beat ourselves up. And I am a person that's done that too. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I'm Sicilian Italian. I'm also Irish English. And I also, I'm a Scorpio. So if you know anything about that kind of stuff, I mean, that's basically a potential ticking time bomb right there. So I understand, especially before I was knowing what I know now, it's very easy to beat yourself up and get angry. And then when you get angry, you might get depressed. And when you get depressed, you end up being unmotivated. And when you're unmotivated, you don't do what you really need to do to pick up the pieces and move forward in your life. So one thing I want people to understand is I want you to think of your life like going to school. Now, I'm not talking about the garbage that they program us with. I'm talking about the purpose that you cannot go into first grade and then expect to graduate college the next day. There are steps. There are progressions. And in this world of instant everything, a lot of people don't have the patience that we need to understand that it does take time. There is progressions. Things come to you when they are ready, and not a moment too late and not a moment too soon. So be patient. Keep following on your path. If every little step brings you closer to your final destination, then you're going in the right direction. So enjoy the journey. Because think of it like, for example, if anybody out there plays video games, just imagine how boring life would be if you just put in a brand new game, never played it before, and as soon as you put it in, you know every move, you've completed every task, and your character is at full max power and can't be stopped. And that's the instant you turn it on. How boring would that game be after a while? Think about somebody that likes to read books, that as soon as you open the book, you already know the ending. Would it be fun to read? So there's a reason why there is a progression of what we do. Because if we got everything instantly, it might be exciting at first, but then what? And that's the beautiful thing of why people will say things like, why is there infinity? Why is there not a beginning? Why is there not an end? Well, the purpose of infinity, to me, is the fact that you will never learn and know everything, which means you will always continuously be on a journey of discovery, which means you don't have a beginning point and then a destination and then game over. So if you have infinity of choices, infinity of destinations, infinity worth of direction, what have you, you will always be learning. Sometimes we're going to take a step back, and that's okay. That's part of an infinite journey. Not everything is going, okay, I'm going from point A to point B. Sometimes we go to point A to point A and 8.1, and then come back because we're not ready to continue the journey, or we stop along the way, or we go in whatever directions. So I titled this, You Will Get There, but technically we never get there, because once we learn something, we want to learn more. So why rush it? Because here's the beautiful thing, and once you understand this, maybe it'll get you to think in a different perspective, that since there's an infinite amount of choices and an infinite amount of learning, you will never know everything. So you will continuously go on your journey. Some people will see that as a burden, and some people will see that as a blessing. It all depends on your perspective, because there was no beginning and there is no end. Now, can I prove that? Of course not. I'm going by what resonates with me. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it resonates with you. But be patient with your journey. Because, like they say, getting there is half the fun. And I just recently had another one of my quote-unquote trolls apologize to me. Now, I don't know if it's the same person with a different account, but a second person that I knew was, not being honest, but I kind of play along at first. I want to see how far somebody's willing to lie just to, try and pass one over. So I kind of play games with them a little bit and make them think that I believe them. But they apologized, and they appreciated the fact that I didn't turn into some vengeful, person that was out to get them. I forgive and I move on. And somebody actually said the other day when one of my trolls, and I'm not going to mention their names because to me, forgive and forget, came online during one of my live shows, apologized for what they've done, admitted that they did it for fun, was amazingly kind to donate $100 to my account, not once, but twice. And I actually had to ask them to stop. I mean, I loved it, but I don't want them to think that they owe me anything. But they appreciated the fact that my videos and my attitude helped inspire them to change their life. Now, whether that's true or not, I may never know. That person could still be deceiving. That person could be 100% genuine. I may never know, but I cannot concern myself with other people's choices and other people's decisions. I can only base it on mine. And if it was true, the stuff that was going on with this individual, and I don't know how many other accounts they had, but they admitted they had multiple. That doesn't surprise me. I've dealt with that a lot over the years. But this happened over 2 years ago it started. And it took 2.5 years for this person to finally ask for, forgiveness, which I gave. So things don't always necessarily have to happen at that moment. They don't have to be over in 2 seconds. You don't have to know everything right away. And in this world, you're being taught that you are supposed to have everything immediately. Otherwise, you're not doing right or you're not achieving. Well, look at all the people that are supposedly in control of this world. Now, they're not poor people. They're not people with needs. These are people that could have everything. And yet, they have everything, but continue to want. In other words, they cannot be satisfied with knowing they have billions of dollars and will never have to go hungry, never have to worry about their heating bill, never have to worry about their car breaking down, never have to worry about anything, can get everything they want, and yet they still desire more. So if you really look at it from their perspective, as much as we look up at them in envy, I look at them and feel bad for them because these are people who have the power, who have the knowledge, who have the finances, who have the connections, and yet they are still yearning for more. And that also proves my point of when you have infinite ability, and there is infinity in choices, you will never fill that void, and you will always be looking for more. And sometimes you have to be on the bottom rung to appreciate the things that you get. And that is why a lot of people here, if they won the lottery, they wouldn't be out there trying to play again. They would probably give a lot of it away, maybe help animals or help their family, get themselves a place where they're secure, and be happy with what they had. There are some people that will never fill their hatred, never fill their jealousy, never fill their greed, because those are all negative aspects. And you have to take from others thinking that's the time it will satisfy you, and it's just a temporary fill in an endless pit. So you will get there. Be patient and know that no journey is ever over. Even when you take your last breath and close your eyes for the last time in this body that you have that is encapsulating your soul, your light energy continues onward. And I want people to understand that whether you are the nicest person in the world or you're the most evil person in the world, we all came from the same source. We all have that light inside us, even though many forget it's there or don't believe it's there or push it down so far they can't see it anymore. Bring out that light that's within all of us, and you'll see the power that we've all been given. And if you can spend your days helping others and being kind and also being forgiving, and if we all pitched in and did things like that, instead of beating the people up that do us wrong, to try and help them turn into something that's right, because here's the beautiful thing. That person did a lot to hurt me. I don't know how many other people they got involved with it, but there were times I was afraid for my life. And this person admitted they did it for fun. They put me in positions of trust that put me in very dangerous places, at least the way I felt. I could easily want to seek revenge. I could have easily asked somebody online that cares about me to help me find these people. I could have easily done that. But there's a saying that I always go with. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And because I wasn't out to get that person and seek revenge, it took a few years, but the person asked for forgiveness. And the ironic part is, the currency that they sent me was just what I needed to fix my car. Because unfortunately, I only get 70% of it, but 70% is better than nothing. And if that person legitimately changed their life, then that means they won't do that to someone else. So you stop that train from going down the track, running people over. You can't change what you've done unless you have a time machine or you have the ability to go back in time using your mind. If you can, please show me how. But if you can't do that, you can't change the past, but you can change the path that leads to your future. So some people will hold on to the anger and not accept someone's forgiveness. Now, I'm not saying that person turned around. I don't know. I may never know. They could end up just doing that as a little game so they can make other profiles and pretend to be another friend. I don't care enough to worry about it. All I know is I have to be me. And if a person asks for forgiveness, I forgive them. That leaves the burden and the energy off of me and projects it back to themselves. Some people just will never understand, and they will always be in anger. They will always be filled with hatred. I mean, I've been getting a lot more thumbs down lately, which means, you know, there are people that just, that's what they want to do. And my thing is, I don't worry about it anymore. And I want you to not worry and lose the fear and understand this is just the journey. What are you learning? If you're not doing anything, what are you learning? If you're afraid to do anything, what are you learning? If you're always hurting people, believe it or not, you are learning. It's not the best way to go through life. But if you can learn from your mistakes and grow from them, become a better person for them, then it did happen for a reason. Because maybe it took that negativity to finally wake you up to say, you know what? It's my destiny, it's my choice, it's my ability to change. And though it may have taken months or years or even decades, if you get to where you want to be, that's the important part. Because just imagine if you've never run a marathon. You've never exercised, you've never done it, you're overweight, you're out of shape, and you say, today I'm going to run a marathon. And let's say it's a 25-mile marathon, and you've never done it before. As you're walking down the road, you could see how far ahead you have to go. And you keep at it. And as you pass certain things, you know, wow, I could see how far I got to go. This is a long trip. But at the end, if you finally persevere and you make it to the end of that race and you walk through that finish line, and it doesn't matter if you're first, it just matters that you didn't give up and you finished. Do you really care about the walking that you already did? It's already gone. That first step you take, once you make the second, the first is already in your past. So unless you want to backtrack, which is a waste of energy, continue forward. Focus on the moment. And you will get there, but it will take time. And since technically time is irrelevant, and we use time as a concept on this third dimensional / fourth dimensional plane, use it to your best ability. Everything happens for a reason, whether you want to believe that or not, whether you notice it or not, whether it affects you or not. Like I said, truth is truth. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter how you twist it to make it your truth. If it's not the truth, you can't change it. So that's why I try and do more inspirational videos these days, because the other stuff, you know what? The world isn't going to come to an end. If it comes to an end, you can't do anything to change it anyway. That just means that when one book closes, you just open up another book and read another story. We don't die. We don't disappear. We just lose the suit. So stop focusing on your past. Stop worrying about your future. Be in the moment and just enjoy the path. Because if you had everything and there was no infinite possibilities, just imagine if there wasn't an infinite possibility and you dedicated your life to learning everything. And let's say there is reincarnation, and every life that you came back, you learned more and more to the point where one day you close the last book and say, you know what? It took millions of years, but now I've learned everything. Well, now what? What do you do then? If you've reached the end and you've learned everything, even though it took millions upon millions of years, what then? And after a while, you'd be pretty damn bored. I mean, if you ever watched the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that shows right there, like the Kurt Russell character who plays a god. That's basically what happened, that he went through his journey alone for millennia, started learning as much as he could, and then realized he didn't want to be alone anymore, and he learned all he could, but he craved for more. You always yearn for more. It's what you do with it. If you want to spend your life hating and hurting other people, making fun of them, putting them down, murdering them, that's your choice. But you're not going to ever leave a legacy that makes you beautiful. But maybe you needed to learn what you don't want. And that's why sometimes bad things happen. And people always ask why. Well, maybe it's because you have to learn what you don't want. How do you know what foods you like and don't like unless you taste them? Some people love apples. Some people hate apples. But the reason somebody loves an apple is the same reason why somebody hates an apple. They took the chance and tried it. So take the chance. Because like biting into an apple and discovering you hate it, you don't ever have to do it again. And if you do, that's kind of dumb. Because if you bite into an apple and cringe and say, that's the most disgusting thing I ever had, and you say, oh, well, I guess I got to eat apples, isn't that kind of dumb? So put that in the rest of your choices that you make. Stop making the same repeat wrongs in your life. You have the choice to change them, or you have the choice to make excuses. If you have one relationship after another where it's the same thing just in a different body, then instead of blaming the people that you attract into your life, understand why you have that magnetism that brings them to you. You draw in what you desire, even if you don't think you do, because like I've said, it's not what you hope for, what you pray for, what you think, and what you convince yourself of. It's what you feel. So if you're attracting negativity in your life, start wondering what you've done to pull that in, because you are a magnet and you attract what you need in your life. And not every learning lesson is a good one, because like I said, sometimes you have to learn what you don't want. So bad things can be just as good things. The difference is, with the bad things, it makes you get motivated a lot more if you pay attention to it. It gets your attention, so it serves its purpose. So choose whatever you want to do, and remember there are always consequences for your actions, many of which you may never see in your lifetime, or you may not see right away. So like they say, be good for goodness sake. Thanks for listening. I always appreciate your comments. Always appreciate the people that come here. If you want to share it, that's great. If you want to thumb it up, that's even better. All the people that took the time to watch me live, I always appreciate the fact that you are willing to listen to what I have to say. I'm just a regular person that is learning every day. And I think I appreciate those who like the fact that I don't have scripted videos, that I'm not paid, I don't work for some corporate media, I'm not reading off a script, I'm not trying to say what you want to hear. I'm saying what I believe and what resonates with me. And you're here, if you're here for the right reasons, because it attracts itself to you. So obviously it's filling a void. So pay more attention to why. Ask yourself why these messages are inspiring you. Ask yourself why you keep listening to these things. Ask yourself why they help make you feel better or make you do better. And if you look inside yourself without lies, without trying to convince yourself, without excuses, you will always find the reason for everything, and it will guide you in the right path. Or you could throw up your hands in the air and say, screw it, I don't care, and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. Because like my car, cars break down, but if you don't go and get them fixed, they stay where they are. So you could crawl up into a ball and cry and say life isn't unfair and all these bad things happen and do nothing and wonder why you don't get anywhere. And you could pray all you want. You can hope all you want. You could wish all you want. You could picture happy little sunshine and rainbows in your mind and wonder why it's raining on you every day. Well, if you don't buy an umbrella, you're going to get wet. Whose fault is that? And that's one of the biggest things I want to teach. If I could teach anything in this channel, it's to take responsibility for your choices. Not just what you do, but sometimes what you don't do. And there are always consequences for your actions. A lot of them you may not ever see or ever know about or have to wait a long time for. So do the right thing, because it's just a better way to live, in my opinion. So thanks for listening. Have a great day. Be good to one another. Lose the fear and focus on the now. And don't forget, have a little fun. Just not at somebody else's expense. Thanks for listening and have a great day.